Let's start. Q Hyper, 2021, 1-2. Page 59 Number 1. William Food Bank, WFB, appreciates and encourages food donations for the purpose of providing hunger relief in our community. William, WFB. Our policy is to accept, with gratitude, any food donation. However, we reserve the right to discard any donation, which may be potentially harmful to the guests, volunteers, and staff of WFB. UFB. Although WFB holds a non-profit status, and is not bound by any health department standards, we have a moral responsibility to the people we serve. UFB. The working poor and homeless are considered to be a population at higher risk for foodborne illnesses caused by the use of outdated or contaminated food. In accordance with the mission statement of WFB, to serve those in need in a spirit of dignity and love, we ask that any food donation be made with serious consideration for the health and nutritious well-being of the individuals we serve. UFB. Page 59 Number 2. Captive breeding programs and laws such as the Endangered Species Act are a kind of first aid measure in global efforts to protect species. They can be thought of as emergency measures needed to preserve the planet's biodiversity. They're similar to the kinds of treatment a heart attack patient receives in an emergency room of a hospital. An emergency room physician may save a patient suffering from a heart attack, but unless the patient diets, exercises, quits smoking, and learns to handle stress, he or she is not likely to survive very long. By the same token, emergency measures are not enough to ensure a diverse, biologically rich world. To achieve this goal, preventive measures are needed. Like other environmental problems, this one can be addressed by slowing, even halting, the growth of the human population in a fundamental redesign of human systems such as agriculture, energy, industry, and waste management. Page 60 Number 3. The amount of information entering our consciousness at any instant is referred to as our cognitive load. When our cognitive load exceeds the capacity of our working memory, our intellectual abilities take a hit. Information zips into and out of our minds so quickly that we never gain a good mental grip on it. Which is why you can't remember what you went to the kitchen to do. The information vanishes before we've had an opportunity to transfer it into our long-term memory and weave it into knowledge. We remember less, and our ability to think critically and conceptually weakens. An overloaded working memory also tends to increase our distractedness. After all, as the neuroscientist Torkel Klingberg has pointed out, we have to remember what it is we are to concentrate on. Torkel Klingberg. Lose your hold on that and you'll find distractions more distracting. Page 60 Number 4. An entrepreneur can come up with her big idea, and in social enterprise, it can be big across the profit or the social good dimension, or both, and pour her savings and personal credit into it. But this bootstrapping has obvious limits. Depending on the entrepreneur's personal network, friends and family may provide additional investment to help her get up and running, produce early proof of concept, or operate a single location. Other than for the independently wealthy and exceedingly well-connected, though, a successful business will reach a point where it requires outside investment. When this moment arrives will depend on the industry in which a business operates as well as the entrepreneur's own balance sheet. Whether an entrepreneur needs to find investors to support prototype development, geographic expansion, increasing market share, or some other strategy, seeking scale requires access to capital. Page 61 Number 5. Understanding art involves the establishment of linkages between areas of knowledge to which it is related. For many generations, art educators strove for subject matter autonomy and wanted to teach art for its own sake in isolation from other subjects constituting the culture. Moreover, art often is taught in isolation from aspects of itself. Students tend to learn studio technical skills, but not the history of the media they are using, the social needs that were met by the invention of these media, or the cultural meanings expressed by the work's symbolic content. They might learn to describe works in terms of their formal elements, but rarely can they explain how these function to contribute to a work's expressive power or how the expressed content reflects the perceived realities that fit its cultural location. They may know about the effect of warm and cool colors from experiences in a painting class, but not recognize how such colors create meanings within works of art by others. Page 61, number 6. Demarketing in a tourism context is the process of discouraging all or certain tourists from visiting a particular destination. General demarketing occurs when all visitors are temporarily discouraged from visiting a location, usually due to perceived carrying capacity problems. A notable example is Venice, where intensive summer crowding occasionally prompts local authorities to run ads depicting unpleasant scenes of litter, polluted water, dead pigeons, and the like. The assumption is that the brand image of Venice is so strong that such imagery will not cause any permanent damage to the tourism industry. Most other destinations, however, do not have such a powerful brand and hence are generally reluctant to countermand brand building efforts with demarketing. Page 62, number 7. An individual characteristic that moderates the relationship with behavior is self-efficacy, or a judgment of one's capability to accomplish a certain level of performance. People who have a high sense of self-efficacy tend to pursue challenging goals that may be outside the reach of the average person. People with a strong sense of self-efficacy, therefore, may be more willing to step outside the culturally prescribed behaviors to attempt tasks or goals for which success is viewed as improbable by the majority of social actors in a setting. For these individuals, culture will have little or no impact on behavior. For example, Australians tend to endorse the tall poppy syndrome. This saying suggests that any poppy that outgrows the others in a field will get cut down. In other words, any overachiever will eventually fail. Interviews and observations suggest that it is the high self-efficacy Australians who step outside this culturally prescribed behavior to actually achieve beyond average. Even in Australian culture, where overachievement is regarded as leading to ultimate failure, those with strong faith in their capabilities to accomplish a task are more willing to challenge culturally imposed norms to reach higher levels of accomplishments. The end. Good job.